It's time now to rest your eyes, to leave behind the noise of the day. Let your body feel heavy, like cool stones resting gently in the grass. Let your shoulders drop, your jaw loosen, your breath slow and soften. Breathe in slowly and out gently. There's no place you need to be, no task waiting for you now. Only this moment, only this breath. And as you listen to my voice, I invite you to imagine yourself somewhere quiet and old, where the stones beneath your feet remember the footsteps of centuries, and the breeze smells like moss and lavender and ancient wood. Let your thoughts settle like dust in a sunbeam, because now we begin our journey. Our story tonight begins in a time of stillness, a time of cloisters and candlelight, a time when the world ticked not by phones or screens, but by bells and prayer and the slow, steady workings of humble hands. Our story begins in a quiet abbey, deep in the green folds of the English hills. The morning mist curls around stone walls like a sleeping cat. It softens the sky, makes everything hush. Even the birds chirp only once or twice, then fall still. Inside these ancient walls, cloaked in ivy and silence, is Brother Elias, a gentle monk with a careful soul. His robes are brown, worn at the sleeves, his fingers always stained faintly with oil and wood dust. He is the abbey's clockmaker, and his days begin with the tick. Just one, a single wooden tick, precise, like a heartbeat echoing through stone. This abbey is one of the first to house a mechanical clock, not one of bells rung by hand, but a weight-driven wonder, built from timber and iron, born of prayer and patient craft. Brother Elias didn't invent it. No, he says inventions belong to God, but he tends to it, loves it, listens to it. Every morning, before the sun has warmed the chapel's leaded glass, Elias is there winding the great rope that lifts the weight, checking each gear, each tooth, each beam of oak and spool of hemp. He doesn't speak as he works, only hums, softly, a lullaby of the past. The abbey's halls are cool and echoing. The air smells of beeswax, ink, and lavender bundles hung from wooden rafters. Through narrow, arched windows, morning light spills in pale gold ribbons. Dust dances in them, like tiny spirits made of sun. The clock itself is tall, carved from a single elm tree. Its wheels are cut by hand. Its pendulum, if you listen closely, whispers a rhythm older than memory. It does not tell time with numbers, but with breath. Tick. Shay. Breathe in gently now. Let your breath fall in rhythm again. Just like before. Soft, slow, steady. In 2, 3, 2, 3. You are here now, floating between time and tale, safe in the candlelit hush of a medieval abbey, wrapped in stone walls and drifting echoes. Now, the story continues. There is a small alcove beside the clock room. Few monks go there, for it is tucked behind the old scriptorium. But Elias visits it often, especially when the rain begins to fall. You can hear it now, can't you? The pattern, soft and round, like fingertips tapping gently on old stone. Drip, drip, Rain curls down ivy leaves, collects in shallow gutters, slides along stained glass windows in glistening trails. Elias sits just beneath one of those windows, where the light is, the color of rose hips, and see where the air smells of old paper, candle soot, and distant rain-soaked fields. And in his lap, he cradles a bundle of tiny wooden wheels, each one shaped with hours of care. Not too fast, not too rough, for if the wheel is too tight, it won't turn. If it's too loose, it will slip, like time itself. It must be just right. His tools are simple: a small chisel, a brush made of badger hair, and a cloth that once belonged to his teacher, Brother Hugo, who passed on the art of horologiva, sacred practice of measuring the hours. You see, in the 14th century, clocks were more than tools. They were prayers in motion, benedictions wrapped in brass and wood. And though most people slept with the sun, in these abbeys, time was a sacred rhythm, marked not by kings or coins, but by bells calling the soul. Matins, before the first bird sings. Lauds, at dawns. Gold breath, prime, just after. Then terce, sext, none, vespers, and compline, the final prayer before dreams. And the clock, she marked each one with a hush, a pause, a single soothing chime. Brother Elias speaks to her as he carves, not aloud, but softly in his mind. You've kept us well today, he thinks. You've given rhythm to our breathing, shape to our quiet. There are mice here, two little ones. They scurry through the shadows but never touch the gears. It's as if they understand. Elias once named one of them Augustine. It comes in the evenings, when the monks are tucked in straw-filled cots, and the fire in the kitchen has gone low. Sometimes, Elias leaves a crumb of oat bread, just one, near the hearth, and in return, the mouse sits beside him, not touching, sitting, to tiny lives, sharing the tick. Beyond the abbey walls, the world turns in louder ways. There are kings fighting wars, plagues drifting through cities like unseen ghosts, and villages where no one knows the hour but the sun. But inside these walls, there is only stillness, only purpose, only the quiet dance of ours, measured not in gold, but in breath. The abbey garden grows herbs for healing, lavender for calming, chamomile for sleep, mint for the occasional fever. Brother Elias often walks there barefoot, letting his toes feel the soft dirt path, letting his soul be watered by the wind. Tonight, the sky is dusky violet, and the moon, not yet risen, leaves the world in indigo silence. He walks past time, rosemary, past tall foxglove that sways in the wind, and settles near the old sundial. Yes, even here, where the mechanical clock chimes faithfully, the monks keep the sundial, too. Because some things are worth remembering. He touches the stone gently, lets his fingers follow its carved markings, marks made by monks long before him, maybe 100 years ago, maybe more. He does not speak, only listens to the ticking in the abbey behind him, to the rustle of sage and the hush of lavender, to the silence between stars. Because sometimes the best way to know the hour is not with numbers, but with feeling. Back in the clock room, the candles are nearly spent. There, wax pools gently in iron holders. The pendulum still swings. The gears still whisper. The abbey still breathes. Elias slips a cloth and carefully dusts the escapineth apart. That makes the tick. Tick pause. Tick. The monks say it reminds them of ocean waves, of a mother's breathing, of the divine always moving, but never hurry. And as Elias stands once more, his work complete, he turns to the window. The moon has risen now, silver, pale, soft as flour on the baker's apron. Its light stretches long across the abbey floor, catching the edge of the clock, glinting off the brass like dew. Elias smiles and whispers his final blessing. May time be gentle with us tonight. And now, Sweet listener, as the abbey slips into sleep, so may you let the hush of the clock ease your thoughts. Let the garden's herbs soften your breath. Let the ticking carry you through the quiet folds of night into a slumber deep and calm. The hour's yours now, held in soft hands and given gently to sleep. Tick, tick, tick. You're doing so well. You've already drifted far from the noise of the day and deeper into this gentle, candlelit world. Let your body sink further now, as if into the softness of moss beneath an old oak tree, or into thick blankets warmed by the hearth. Let each breath feel like the turning of a gear, effortless, natural, designed for stillness. In 2, 2, 3, you're quiet. And now, we return to the abbey. Tonight is the feast of St. Dunstan. The bells are polished. The kitchen smells of honeyed porridge and spiced mead. And in the refectory, the brothers hum a hymn written long ago, a tune passed down like seeds through time. The hymn is slow, a round of voices rising like soft mist, falling again into silence. Brother Elias stands in the back, watching the candlelight flicker across the faces of his fellow monks. Their robes sway slightly as they bow, hands folded, heads dipped, their movements calm, like water stirred by wind. After the meal, each monk is given a fig and a walnut, a simple treat, a celebration. Elias doesn't eat his right away. Instead, he walks quietly to the cloister, where moonlight pours like silver milk onto the stone path. He sits where the ivy creeps low over the arches, where he can hear the echoes of footsteps long past. And slowly, gently, he cracks the walnut open. Snap. The sound is small, almost shy. Inside, the kernel is golden, soft, warm from his hand. He eats slowly, one bite, then another, each moment fully lived, because in this abbey, even eating can be an act of prayer. The moon tonight is full. Its light turns the grass to pale velvet, and the abbey walls to ivory. Elias watches as the shadow of the clock tower stretches long across the courtyard, a mark of time, but also a companion. You see, he's never been afraid of time. Not Elias. He says time is not a thief, but a lantern, a guide. And when the world feels too loud, too rushed, too far from the rhythm of the soul, time can be a return, a breath, a tick. In the scriptorium, an old scroll hangs by the doorway, a gift from a traveling monk who once studied in Florence. It reads, Tempus est lumen silene. Time is the light of silence. Elias traces the words each morning with his fingers, softly, with reverence, because here, where silence reigns, time is not something to race, but something to keep company. Now, the night deepens. The world outside the abbey sinks into sleep. The wind hushes in the trees. Owls call softly from the woods beyond the hills. And the great clock ticks on, steady as ever. Elias lights one last candle in the clock room. Its flame dances, gently casting gold across the floorboards. He leans close to the gears, listens again. Tick. Each tick feels slower now, like the very night is breathing with him. In time, in tune, he places his hand gently on the side of the clock's casing. The wood is warm from the day's work, smooth from a century of touch. He closes his eyes, and for a moment, he feels something extraordinary, as if the clock is listening to him, as if, in this small, sacred moment, they are one, wood and breath, metal and memory, monk and machine, stillness and sound. There is a legend in the abbey, older than the oldest monk. It says the abbey's clock contains a single feather from the wing of time itself. Not a real feather, of course, but a spirit one, a symbol. It cannot be seen or touched, but sometimes, if you sit very still and the wind is just right, you can hear it flutter. Between ticks, Brother Elias believes the feather is real. He says it's what keeps the clock kind and its keeper gentle. He once told a novice, "We don't control time. We cradle it. We tend it. We let it rest in our hands for just a little while. And perhaps tonight you're holding a feather too." The hour grows late. In their cells, the monks sleep soundly, wrapped in woolen blankets, breathing in peaceful rhythm, the soft sound of sleep rising and falling like waves. Outside, a nightingale begins to sing. Just one note, then two. Elias smiles. He remembers something from an old herbal manuscript. When the nightingale sings before midnight, it means the stars are watching. And oh, how they shine tonight, far above the stone tower, beyond clouds and wind and time, glittering like tiny clock faces. Old ticking in silence, as Brother Elias walks the final path to his chamber. The sound of the ticking clock follows him, not loudly, but as a comfort, like footsteps beside him, like the memory of prayer, like the heartbeat of something far older than words. He enters his room, a small space, with a straw mattress, a wooden chest, and a single shelf of books. He lays the walnut shell on the sill. He places the candle beside his bed, and he breathes in, out, and once more, he whispers his prayer to time. May you keep us gently until the morning light. Now, dear listener, it is your time to rest too. Let the feather of time rest lightly on your brow. Let the ticking carry you like a boat across a silent lake. Let the bells of the abbey chime only in your dreams. You are safe. You are cradled. You are already drifting. Tick. Outside, the stars begin to fade. The first fingers of morning slip over the hills, touching the grass with dew. Birds begin their songs. Lowly, one note, then another, warming up, like the opening lines of a psalm. And the abbey stirs, not loudly, not all at once, but like a sleeping child stretching beneath a quilt. Brother Elias smiles. He knows the first bell will ring soon. Prime. The prayer of awakening. But for now, for just a few more moments, he lets the clock tick only for him. No audience. No purpose. Just presence. He stands, brushes off his robe, and before he leaves the clock room, he reaches into his pocket and places something small at the base of the mechanism. A walnut. Whole. Uncracked. A gift for the mouse. A promise that even in the turning of time, there is space for kindness. As he steps into the hall, the bell rope sways gently in the draft, and with one quiet tug, he rings it. The first bell of day. Its echo dances across the stones, waking the abbey not with demand, but with invitation. Another day begins. Another cycle starts. And somewhere in the quiet, between chimes, the great clock ticks on. And now, dear listener, let the bell fade away. Let the ticking continue, and let your breath stay slow and soft. There is no need to rise yet. No need to do anything at all. Just listen to the gears, to the silence, to your own inner clock, whispering tick, drift, tick, dream, softly now. You wandered far into the hush of this story, and the quiet wraps around you like a woolen blanket, warm from the sun. The abbey still breathes, and time still turns, just as your own breath does now. In 2, 3. You're not watching the story anymore. You're within it, moving gently through its shadows and light. The morning bell has rung. One deep chime, then silence, then another, and another. 7 in all, each one slower than the last, each one echoing through the stone halls like a memory. The brothers rise, some slowly, rubbing their eyes, others already wrapped in quiet prayer. Their robes rustle softly as they make their way to the chapel. Single file, like water flowing through ancient channels. No one speaks. Not yet. The world is still holding its breath, waiting for light to spill properly through the high windows. In the chapel, The candles are already lit. Fat beeswax columns, flickering with gold and shadow. Their scent is warm, like honey and some baked comb. It floats through the air, mingling with breath and dust. Brother Elias sits in the fourth row. He always does. From here, he can see the rose window, a great wheel of stained glass above the altar. Each petal a different cherubi, indigo, forests, sky. When the light hits it just right, it spills color down the stone like spilled paint. And for a few minutes each day, the floor sings with rainbows. Today, the sun is slow to rise, but Elias doesn't mind. He knows some light takes its time. The prior begins to chant, a soft murmur in Latin, each syllable melting into the next, and slowly the others join him. Their voices rise together, low, melodic, steady. It isn't music, not quite, but something deeper, a weaving of breath and stillness, like wind moving through pine boughs. Each stroke is a breath, each shaving of wood a moment released. The lark slowly takes form, wingtip beat, the faint swell of its belly. He pauses, brushes away the curls of wood. This is tick tick tick. Even here, far from the mechanism, he hears it. He always does, like a friend calling from another room. Not to hurry him, never that. Just to remind him, time is still moving, and gently, so is he. As the afternoon wanes, the light in the alcove turns amber. It spills across the bench, warming the half-carved bird. Elias sets down his blade, wipes his hands, and breathes. He's not finished with the lark. Not yet, but that's the beauty of time here. It never runs out. It only unfolds. One soft tick at a time. Now, dear listener, you are part of this abbey now, not outside it, but resting within its heart. The lark, the bees, the clock, they all know you. They tick in time with your breath. So let that breath stay soft now. Let your mind sway like ivy in a gentle wind. Let your body rest where it is cradled. You are safe, and so very, very still. Tick, tick, tick. Footsteps are slower now, robes brushing the floor like wind through barley. Elias walks beside Brother Anselm, an old friend with a limp and a kindness that never fades. They say nothing. They don't need to. The walk to chapel is familiar, a path worn by years of prayer and filled with the memory of sandals on stone. As they enter the chapel, the bells begin. 6 gentle tones. Their voices warm the stone, like steam rising from a cup of herb tea. The light through the rose window is almost gone. Only a faint blue remains, the color of evening sky just before stars appear. And as Elias bows his head, the stillness presses around him, not heavy, but whole. After Vespers, a silence descends, not out of solemnity, but out of peace. The monks return to their tasks quietly, or retreat to their cells. Some write, some read, some simply sit. Elias returns to the clock. He always does. The room greets him with a low creak as he opens the wooden door. It's cooler now. The scent of warm brass and wood mingles with the first breath of night air that curls through the tower slats. He doesn't light a candle this time. The moon is enough. It slips through the high window, illuminating the pendulum as it swings like a slow breath. Tick, tick, tick. Elias doesn't touch it. He only listens. He sits on the small bench by the wall, the one shaped to his frame over years of quiet keeping. And there, in the hush, he begins to hum. It's a soft tune, wordless, low, something his mother used to hum when she crushed herbs in the mortar or sewed patches on his childhood cloak. It rises gently, then settles like a dove nesting. The tune floats through the room, swirling with the dust motes in the moonlight, becoming part of the air, part of the clock. Tick hum, tick. He remembers, faintly, his first night alone with the clock. Decades ago, Brother Hugo had passed only a day before. The others had suggested Elias take the post, quietly, gently. They knew, even then, he was a listener. He had stepped into the clock room with trembling hands, afraid not of the machine, but of the silence it asked of him. But the tick had welcomed him, offered him something deeper than duty. It had said, "Come sit beside me. We'll keep time together." And they had every day since. The clock still ticks. Your breath still flows. The story still cradles you like warm wool in winter. Let yourself rest deeper now, as if you're curled beneath the abbey's thickest blanket, hearing the stones hum softly with memory. Your eyes may flutter like candle flames, but there is no need to hold them open. The story will hold you. Just breathe in. 2, 3. Peter and Elias sit together for some time, wordless. Only the tick of the great clock moves between them, a soft rhythm shared by both breath and silence. Eventually, Elias speaks. His voice is quiet, gravel warm, like an old book opening. "Would you like to see the feather?" he asks. Peter glances at him, wide-eyed. He's heard the legend. All the novices have the feather of time. A gift, they say, from the divine wind, caught long ago by a monk so still, so quiet, that time itself stopped beside him. Peter nods slowly. Elias rises, stretching gently, his joints whispering like parchment. He crosses the room and kneels beside the base panel of the clock. With care, he lifts the hatch, Inside, there are only gears, cogs, and a little wooden drawer. No lock, no key, just a smooth pull handle worn shiny by decades of touch. Elias slides it open. Inside, a small linen pouch, yellowed with age. He lifts it and offers it to Peter. Peter hesitates, then opens the pouch, and there nestled within a single, impossibly delicate feather. Soft gray, laced with the faintest shimmer, like moonlight woven into thread. It's so small, it might vanish in a breeze. So light, Peter wonders if it's even real. He holds his breath as he stares. Not out of fear, but reverence. Brother Hugo gave it to me, Elias says, the day I took over the clock. He said it reminds us what we're really keeping. Peter looks up. What's that? Elias smiles. Not hours, not minutes, but wonder. Peter returns the feather to its pouch, closes the drawer, rests his hands in his lap. There are tears in his eyes, but he doesn't blink them away. Because here, in the clock room, no one rushes grief or quiet joy. Everything is allowed to unfold. Tick, tick, tick. Eventually, Peter stands. He bows, whispers a thank you, and leaves the room, his footsteps barely stirring the air. Elias stays a little longer. He likes how the clock sounds different after someone's left, as if it sighs, or hums, or resets the air between heartbeats. He returns to his bench, sits, listens. The feather is still in the drawer, but now its memory is in the room, and in you, dear listener. Can you feel it? That whisper-soft idea? That time is not just passing. It's present, alive, right here in your breath. The abbey settles once more. Outside, the stars shine clearer now. No clouds, just a vast, ink-dark sky, studded with ancient light. The fox has gone quiet. The wind rests, too, and even the bees in their hives hum lower in sleep. Elias begins to hum again. A new tune. This one even slower. A cradle song for no one in particular. Or perhaps for you. It's not important to understand the melody, only to feel it. Like warm water around your ankles, like dusk settling on your shoulders. It drifts through the room. It drifts through you. And then a sound, soft, but real. A fluttering near the window. Elias turns. The slats above are slightly ajar, letting the moonlight stream in. And there, perched just on the sill, a bird, a nightlark. Small, feathered in gold-gray eyes, like black ink and dew. Elias doesn't move, only watches. The bird does not fear the tick of the clock. It listens to it, tilts its head. Then it sings, one clear note, then two, then a whole phrase of sound so tender it might have been written by the wind itself. Elias closes his eyes. The lark sings once more, then flies. Gone. But not truly, because its song still lingers in the gears, in the moonlight, in your chest. Song. And now, dear dreamer, your breath has slowed. Your thoughts are quieter. You've wandered long through this abbey of peace, and still, you're welcome to stay. So let the night deepen. Let the feather of time rest gently on your pillow. Let the clock's ticking steady your heartbeat. Let the memory of the lark song carry you over the threshold of sleep. There's no rush. There's only breath, only soft hours, and sacred stillness. Tick, tick, tick. The night has grown deep now, dear one. The stars have settled into place, and your body is gently sinking into rest. Let your breath stay slow, like a feather falling through candlelight. Let your limbs grow heavier, like moss-covered stones resting by a forest path. There's nothing to carry, nothing to do, just soft presence and the sound of a clock ticking in time with your heart. It is the hour of the final prayers before true night. A bell rings low and full. Its tone spreads like warm ink across parchment, deep and gentle. A voice that doesn't ask, but welcomes. The monks gather one last time. Not hurried, not loud, just a quiet procession of robes and bare feet. Each step, a kind of gratitude. Elias joins them, robes wrapped close against the evening chill. His breath clouds in the air. A silver mist rising from a quiet lake. The chapel is mostly shadow now. Only a few candles burn, just enough to outline the faces of those who pray. The chant begins. Low, slow, a kind of hum between earth and sky. In pace, inidipsum dormio, ete hequiescum. In peace, I will lie down and sleep. Elias closes his eyes and lets the words pass through him, like wind through tall grass. He does not need to think. He only needs to be. After the final amen, the monks return to their cells. One by one, their doors closing with soft wooden clicks. Not like endings, but like lullabies. Tucked in behind silence, Elias walks a slower path. He lingers in the cloister. The sky above is velvet now, deep blue, nearly black, pierced by stars too ancient to name. He breathes it in. The cold, the quiet, the rhythm of everything resting. And there, in the stillness, he hears it again. Tick. Not just the clock inside the tower, but the earth's clock, the soul's clock, the one that marks wonder. Instead of minutes, he returns to the clockroom. Just once more, before bed, not to adjust, not to polish, just to say goodnight. He lights a single beeswax candle. The flame flickers tall, then settles into a soft golden oval. The gears gleam faintly. The pendulum sways, and Elias just watch it. His hands rest in his lap. His eyes he breathes in time with the tick. Each breath a lot, each tick a step deeper into stillness. And then he speaks aloud, barely a whisper. Thank you. The room seems to hold its breath in return. Not because the clock can hear, but because everything else can. The floor, the walls, the night air that curls through the rafters. Even the tiny mouse who peeks out once more to sniff the walnut shell on the windowsill. The candle begins to shrink. Its light lowers. The shadows move closer, not to threaten, but to blanket. Time, too, is tucking in for sleep. Elias stands, slowly, his knees creaking with the patience of age. He presses a hand gently to the side of the clock. A gesture not of ownership, but of kinship. The way one touches a dear friend's shoulder. The way one thanks a tree for giving shade. And then, without another sound, he slips from the room. His cell is waiting. Stone walls, a straw-filled mattress, one soft wool blanket, and a window that frames exactly one star. He does not change clothes. Not yet. Instead, he sits on the edge of the bed, hands in his lap, gazing at the window. The star twinkles, faint far, but unwavering. Elias knows this one. He's watched it for years. He calls it Balaam Lucis, the war of light. Not because it's violent, but because it never surrendered. Even when the sky is blackest, it shines. He speaks to it sometimes, not in words, but in thought. Tonight, he thinks, we are still here, and he feels the star blink back. I know. He lays down at last, blanket pulled to his chin, hands folded on his chest. The straw mattress shifts gently beneath him. Not harsh, not loud, just real, like sleeping on the back of the world. His breath slows, his eyelids grow heavy, and in his mind, the clock still ticks, not just as a sound, but as a feeling. Tick, 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 soft, as heartbeat sure as moonrise, a rhythm that carries him into the cradle of night. And now, dear one, you may follow. Let Elias's stillness become your own. Let your breath fall into the same gentle beat. Let the candle of your thoughts burn low. There is no tomorrow yet, only the sacred hush of now. You are wrapped in time's embrace. You are sheltered by the Abbey's stone. You are cradled by breath and rhythm and soft, old stories that never really end. Tick, sleep. You've come so far into the hush, through candlelight, quiet breath, and winding paths of soft ticking time. There's no need to turn back now, only to drift forward, like a leaf on a slow, moonlit stream. Let your breath stay easy, not forced, not held, just like the pendulum swing. Inhale, exhale, like clockwork, like peace. The night deepens. Elias sleeps, wrapped in his robe and blanket. A sliver of starlight spills across the floor from the small window, casting a soft glow along the wall, just enough to make the stones look like sleeping giants. Outside his cell, the abbey is utterly still. No footsteps, no chants, no bells, only the breathing of the walls and the heartbeat of the great wooden clock. Tick, tick, tick. And in the clock room, something stirs. Not movement, not noise, just attention. As if the clock itself notices the quiet, as if, in its old wooden heart, it knows this is the hour when dreams are nearest. Deep in the mechanism, a gear clicks softly into place. Not from wear, not from need, but as if in gentle agreement. It's the night of the winter quarter moon, a time when the monks believe the veil between waking and dreaming thin, when echoes from the past brush against the present like the hem of a robe in passing. Tonight, the clock remembers, not just the time, but the hands that built it. Brother Hugo's fingers rough and ink, the careful shaping of each tooth in the patient threading of rope through pulley. And before Hugo, others, monks from distant years, names now lost to paper and dust, but their care lingers, because the clock is more than a machine. It is a memory that moves. And tonight, it remembers softly. So softly. Tick. Memory. Tick. In his sleep, Elias turns slightly. He's dreaming, not wildly, not brightly, just small dreams of warm wood under his hands, of sun filtering through ivy, of Brother Cuthbert laughing over spilled honey, and of a feather, gray and glowing, floating just above his open palm. He does not chase it. He does not grip. He simply watches, and it drifts gently down, landing on his chest, right above his heart. Elsewhere in the abbey, the bees sleep soundly in their hives, tucked into waxy hexagons, warmed by the breath of one another. They do not need to keep time. They carry it within them. The garden outside is silvered with dew, and the lavender nods gently in the breeze. Their blooms close in like prayer books for the night. The moon watches it all. High above, silent and round, a keeper of secrets too old to name. And even she, tonight, seems to move in time with the clock. Tick. Moonrise. Tick. Back in the clock room, a mouse reappears. The same one, tiny and light. It scurries carefully along the base of the casing, pausing where Elias always leaves the walnut shell tonight. There are two pieces, one full, one just barely cracked. The mouse sniffs, then begins nibbling, not in haste, but gently, with the careful chewing of one who trusts. The candle stub still rests nearby, cold now, but marked with a drip of old hours, and the pendulum swings on. Above all of it, unbothered, unchanging, or rather, changing just slowly enough to feel eternal, a soft breeze moves through the tower slats. It smells of pine and river water, like stories spoken in the dark. It passes over the mouse, stirs the brass gears faintly, and drifts down the spiral stairs into the belly of the abbey. It does not wake anyone. It only brushes past, a reminder. That night is not empty. It is filled with breath and time and the slow turning thoughts of stone and wood. And now, dear one, soft and humming, like it was the first time he ever felt safe. He lets it play, and under that tree, he rests again. Back in the waking world, the abbey sleeps on. The moon has dipped lower, resting just above the hills. The color of the night is deep navy now, a sky steeped in ink. In the garden, the dew thickens. Each blade of grass wears a tiny crown of water, and the lavender releases the last of its scent, like perfume spilled in a dream. Even the bees are still. Even the air holds stillness, as if the entire world is listening. Listening for what? You might ask. For nothing. Because nothing is sacred here. The absence of rush, the hush of the world when no one demands a thing from it. That is what the abbey listens to, and that is what you rest inside now. In his cell, Elias stirs. He does not wake, not yet, but his hand moves to his chest, as if still holding the dream feather. His breath rises, then falls. The star above his window winks once more. The last blinked before dawn. And in the tower, the clock ticks on. Steady, unshaken, unhurried. It has known thousands of nights like this, and will know thousands more. Because it does not need to be seen to keep moving. It only needs to be trusted. Down the narrow passage from the tower, Brother Peter walks softly, a candle in his hand, its flame shielded from the breeze. He cannot sleep, not from worry, just from wonder. He tiptoes into the clockroom again, not to speak, not to change anything, only to listen. The candle burns low. Its flame dances a little. Peter hums a tune from childhood, buried so deep it came back only now. It matches the tick perfectly, as if the clock has always known it, as if all clocks hum that song when no one is there to listen. He closes his eyes, lets his head rest against the wall. He does not mean to sleep here, but sleep finds him anyway. The clock keeps time, the walls keep warmth, and the stars outside keep quiet. Is kept. And you, dear listener, you are kept too. By the rhythm, by the silence, by the breath in your body that moves like the pendulum, back and forth, in and out, still and soft. Let your hands rest, let your chest rise once more, then fall. There is no time here, only timelessness. No pressure, only presence. No stories that need endings, only ones that go on gently, like rivers finding the sea. Tick tick, drift. You're so close to the still center now, the place where breath and story dissolve into one another, where your thoughts float like petals in a quiet pond. Let yourself drift again. Let the hush guide you. Nothing to fix, nothing to follow, only rhythm, only rest. Tick tick, peace. The first hint of dawn arrives. Not loud, not sudden, just a slow exhale across the sky. The horizon turns from navy to deep gray, then hints of softest blue, like worn linen drying in morning wind. The abbey does not stir yet. It's not time. Not quite, but the air holds a whisper of coming light, a promise, and in the clockroom, the pendulum sways just the same, unbothered by sunlight or moonlight. It keeps the time of breath, not brightness. Peter still sleeps against the wall. His candle has gone out, wax pooled like honey at its base. His journal rests unopened on the floor beside him. Its cover catches a glint of morning light. Like a smile in sleep, he dreams of wood and brass, of feathers drifting, of voices humming in long stone halls. In his dream, he winds the clock himself, and it says, "Thank you." Elias begins to stir, his eyes open slowly. Not startled, not pulled, just lifted gently from sleep, like the soft draw of a curtain in wind. He does not rise yet. He only lies there, eyes blinking softly, toward the window, where that one bright star is nearly gone. He watches as it fades, not with sadness, only with gratitude. "You stayed with me," he thinks, and the silence replies, "I always do." They sit together a while longer. No words, just hums and ticks, and the gentle warmth of sunlight slipping through the slats. Outside, the abbey begins to wake. A door creaks, a bird chirps, a brother coughs gently in the hall. The day has begun, but not rushed, never rushed, because here, in this place, time is not a master. It is a companion, a quiet friend, a keeper of rhythm and breath. Tick, begin, and you, dear one, though you may be drifting now, resting in the slow river of this tale, know that you, too, are held within this rhythm. You are part of the quiet clock. You are part of the dream. You are part of the lullaby, hummed in shadowed halls. And everything in you is right on time. Breathe once more, deep and slow. Let it carry you gently. Tick, tick, sleep. This is the final hush. The last soft breath before sleep takes you fully. You've traveled slowly, gently, through candlelight, ticking rhythms, soft robes, and night song. You've walked with Elias. You've dreamed with Peter. And now, you're ready to rest with the clock itself. There is nothing more to do, only to be, and to be still. Let your breath fall easy again, like petals, like the swing of a pendulum, like peace. The abbey is fully awake now, though it never feels loud, only alive. Chickens rustle in the yard. A pot clangs gently in the kitchen. A hymn rises faintly from the garden, where Brother Anselm tends the time. The bees begin to stir. Their hum folds back into the music of morning, soft, busy, joyful in its own steady way. The chapel windows glow with the light of prime. Prayer has begun again. Another breath in the life of the abbey. But up in the clock tower, time continues on its own rhythm. Peter stands by the gears now. He's asking Elias small questions. Curious, kind. What oil do you use? How often do you wind it? What happens if it stops? Elias answers each one with a warm tone. Never hurry, always patient. As if each answer is a lullaby in disguise. Olive oil, lightly heated, he says, once every moon's turn. And if it stops, well, that's when we pause too. To listen. Peter nods. He reaches out a hand, touches the casing gently. His fingers rest just where Elias's often do. There's a silence between them then, not because they've run out of words, but because the clock is speaking again. Tick, tick. Outside, a soft wind rises. It passes through the open slats of the tower, playing a quiet song against the beams. It smells of lemon balm and cool stone, the scent of rest, of beginnings and endings folded into one. Peter closes his eyes. It sounds like breathing, he whispers. Elias smiles. It is. Below them, the abbey continues its gentle rhythm. The monks eat bread and honey. They tend to books and bees. They speak in low voices that soothe. Even the garden beds, they walk with purpose, but never haste. And above them, the clock listens, not just to time, but to the souls who live within it. Every tick is a story, every swing, a prayer, every chime, a reminder that all things move, but nothing is lost. Not truly. Elias turns to Peter. Will you care for it when I no longer can? He asks. The question hangs there, light as dust in the morning sun. No weight, no burden, just a passing of rhythm. Peter swallows softly, then nods. Yes, I will. Elias places a hand on his shoulder. No more needs to be said, because the clock already knows. It heard a promise. Tick, tick. Later, in the warm glow of late morning, Elias walks the outer edge of the abbey. He stops by the garden, touches a lavender stem, smells it. He watches the bees for a moment. How they know just where to land. How they never seem lost, even when spinning in circles. He smiles, then walks slowly along the cloister path, his footsteps tracing the same ancient stones that thousands have passed before. One more prayer, one more breath. He enters the chapel again. Empty now. The stained glass lights The walls in color, blues, ambers, rose reds. He walks to the center, kneels, not to ask for anything, just to listen. And in that silence, he hears the clock, even here, even through stone and air and time. And with each sound, his heartbeat matures, not in fear, not in urgency, just in peace. When he returns to his cell, he finds the journal. Peter must have left it on the bench outside. Elias opens it slowly. Inside, pages and pages, not of instructions, but of drawings, of gears, of feathers, of candles, of trees made of time and stars. One page has a quote, written in small, careful letters. Some clocks do not measure hours, they measure wonder. Elias closes the book, presses it to his chest, closes his eyes. And now, dear one, here at the end of the story, you are still resting. Your body quiet, your mind wrapped in linen, your thoughts like ink settling in still water. You've walked the halls, heard the chimes, watched the lark fly, and the candle melt. You've listened to the hush between ticks. You've let go, and now you may fully drift. Let the story fade like moonlight through ivy. Let the clock keep watch while you sleep. There is nothing left to hold, no time to chase, no end to fear. Only this moment, only this breath. Tick, 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 sleep.